Rule 6. The cultivation of a sense of humor is the sixth of our 10 rules for better living. Each individual may have his own definition of what constitutes humor. But very few have realized that it is a point of view which must develop within character if it is to be genuine and spontaneous. The lowest form of humor is enjoyment derived from the misfortunes of others or the predicaments in which our associates may become involved. The real humorist is always kindly, gentle, observing and stimulating. He is frequently able to preach a message or point out a lesson which would be objectionable if presented in a more sober vein. In older days, powerful princes had court jesters, and these alone could insult their masters with impunity. Many of these jesters were deeply learned and very wise for takes, depth of human understanding, breadth of experience, and a ready comprehension to be witty without being unpleasant. In daily living, nothing orients the person in his environment more quickly than the ability to get a separate look at himself. If we can stand aside and watch ourselves go by, we may have a new and appropriate cause for humor. The actions of others may seem ridiculous, but we feel that the most ridiculous actions of ourselves should be taken seriously by others. A real humorist is one who can enjoy being laughed at as much as he enjoys laughing at. This, however, is a real test of a philosopher. Many of the problems which seem deep and terrible are little better than ridiculous if seen in perspective. It is this lack of perspective which causes us to be overly serious when perhaps a lightness of the mind would solve everything. Humor, of course, is like a condiment. It gives flavor to food, but does not necessarily contribute to nutrition. Research shows, however, that the food which we enjoy is most likely to be well accepted by the body and applied to its proper purposes. We cannot live upon condiments, but as social creatures we require a certain amount of adjustment in order to live well. A sense of humor does not imply a superficial nature. We have all known those who have tried desperately to be funny and have failed miserably. When we force an unnatural wit, we destroy the very principle of humor which cannot flourish in shallow natures. The laws governing human conduct are forever emphasizing balance and moderation between extremes. That which is unbalanced destroys itself. On the one extreme, we may have a deep and abiding thoughtfulness, a heavy sense of responsibility, a deep dedication to duty, and a firm conviction that life is not funny. If we carry this attitude or group of attitudes to an unreasonable excess, however, we become dull and colorless. Such an excess does not make us more useful or more practical and of itself solves few of the ills the flesh is heir to. Conversely, to ripple continuously like a shallow stream living forever on the surface of occurrences and accepting nothing as worthy of mature consideration is another dangerous extreme. Somewhere there is a point of balance. But man has always found it hard to do anything moderately. This lack of what the Chinese call the mean or balance causes us to tip from one extreme to another with considerable wear and tear on the whole personality. There can be no good philosophy of life without humor, and there can be no real humor without a good philosophy of life. The balancing of these two factors is therefore the proper symbol of maturity. The human mind, emotions and physical body flourish best when the person in the body is balanced and moderate and optimistic. Honest laughter relaxes body tension and releases many of the pressures which might otherwise accumulate and break through in less desirable ways. The habit of humor has a wonderful transmuting power like the one of a fairy queen. It transforms the commonplace into something delightful. We have all enjoyed the humor of Mark Twain and Will Rogers. And we know that the world is better for their contributions to our way of life. Never be so busy, so thoughtful, so learned and so rich or so burdened that you are no longer able to relax with a quiet smile.